Oh, if I told you that there's an invisible tax stealing your money every single day, not from your wallet, but from your time, would you believe me? Let's find out how AI can make you tax-free and time-rich. Let's talk about something that's probably costing you a ton of time and money, whether you realize it or not. It's like a hidden tax on your productivity. But what if you could not only get rid of that tax, but actually turn it into a new way to make money? Well, today we're diving into exactly how you can do that with AI-driven automation. I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. How much of your week is just gone, swallowed up by all that digital grunt work? You know, the endless copy-pasting, downloading attachments, renaming files, scheduling meetings. It's like being stuck in rush hour traffic, but for your workflow. It just kills your momentum. And if you actually sat down and tracked it, I bet the number of hours you lose would absolutely shock you. And look, this isn't just about being annoyed, right? This is about your most valuable resources. We're talking about your time, your creative energy, and yeah, your income. Every hour you spend on that busy work is an hour you're not spending on big ideas, on strategy, or on finding that next client. It has a real, tangible cost. So if every wasted click is costing you real money, what if you could turn those same clicks into cash instead? It's the unseen tax that's eating away at your bottom line, so let's give this enemy a name. We're calling it the tyranny of tasks. It's this never-ending cycle of manual digital paperwork that holds you back from doing your best work. It's draining, it creates mistakes, and it just sucks the life out of you. But the good news? You don't have to put up with it. You can actually flip the script and become the boss of your own tasks. So how do we fight back? Well, that brings us to our main tool for today, something called Nan. The easiest way to think about it is like a universal remote for all your different apps. It lets you connect everything together to create these incredibly smart automated workflows. And the absolute best part? You can do all of this without writing a single line of code. Okay, so what exactly are we talking about when we say workflow automation? It's actually pretty simple. It's just the process of teaching your software to talk to each other and do stuff for you automatically. You basically set up a domino effect. You say, when this happens, that's your trigger. Then do this, this, and this. You're basically building a little assembly line for your information. And to really get why this is such a huge deal, you have to see the before and after. The old way of doing this involved hiring a developer to write a bunch of complicated code. It was like the secret language only programmers knew, a total black box for everyone else. But with a tool like Nan, it's all visual. You're literally just dragging little boxes around on a screen and connecting the dots. The whole process is laid out right in front of you, which means anyone can look at it and understand exactly what's happening. That is a total game changer. Alright, enough theory. Let's see this in action, because once you watch AI do your work for you, you'll never go back. Theory is cool, but seeing is believing, right? So let's get our hands dirty and walk through a real-world example from our source material. You're going to build a slick little AI assistant that can schedule meetings for us. So here's the mission, and it's beautifully simple. I want to be able to send a casual message to a bot on Telegram, something like, hey, book a meeting with Varun for Thursday at 5 p.m. And then bam, a moment later, a Google Calendar invite is created, and the link is sent back to me, all without ever having to open my calendar app. So how does this magic trick actually work? Let's pull back the curtain. First, a message hits the bot. That's our trigger. That's what kicks the whole thing off. Second, the AI brain of the operation reads my message. It doesn't need a specific command. It understands plain English. Third, it plays detective and pulls out the important bits, the time, the date, and who the meeting is with. Fourth, it takes that info and tells Google Calendar to create the event. And finally, number 5, it confirms the job is done by zipping that meeting link right back to me on Telegram. It's a perfect little loop that makes a tedious task instant. And this is where it gets really cool. This quote from the source material just nails it. The magic ingredient is that the AI can infer what you mean. I can just say 5 p.m. I don't have to spell out the full date and time zone. The AI is smart enough to look at the calendar and go, okay, he probably means the next 5 p.m. It makes an intelligent guess just like a human assistant would. You know, there's actually a fancy term for this, non-deterministic AI. Here's the best way to think about it. A traditional computer program is like a vending machine. You have to punch in exactly B4 to get your chips. But a non-deterministic AI is like a personal assistant. You can just say, "Hey, I'm kind of hungry," and they'll figure out what to do. The machine is finally adapting to us, not the other way around. Cool, right? But what happens when your automation breaks? Because that's where the real learning and earning begins. Okay, so let's get real for a second. This isn't some magic wand you just wave and it works perfectly on a first try. The source material had a great honest moment about this. They tried scheduling a meeting using a voice note, but the AI transcription messed up the email address and the whole thing broke. But that's not a failure. That's the whole point. Building automations is about tinkering. You build something, you test it, you see where it breaks, and you make it better. It's a puzzle, and that's exactly what makes it a skill you can actually learn. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Debugging? Tinkering? That sounds like a lot of work, but here's the absolute best part of all of this. You almost never have to start from a completely blank canvas. You get to stand on the shoulders of giants. So how does this magical sharing actually happen? It's through something called JSON, and I know it sounds super technical, but stick with me. The idea is dead simple. Imagine JSON is like the instruction manual for a complex Lego set. It tells you exactly which pieces go where. In the world of N8N, a JSON file is the instruction manual for an entire automation. It's basically a copy and paste for entire workflows. And just how big is this library of instruction manuals? Well, check this out. On the NN website, there are over 5,400 of these pre-built templates for free. These are workflows that real people have already built, tested, and fixed. So whatever boring task you're trying to automate, I guarantee you someone has probably already built 90% of the solution for you. So here's the playbook. Don't sit there staring at a blank screen. That's the slow way. The smart way is to go find a template that's kind of like what you need, copy its JSON code, and paste it right into your own workspace. From there, you just start tweaking it. You swap out their logins for yours, you rewrite the AI prompts a little bit, you make it your own. That's how you learn fast and get powerful results even faster. Boom. And here's where things get really interesting. Because once you know how to build automations, you can actually sell them. Okay, so we've talked about saving time, which is amazing, but now for the really exciting part. How do you turn this into actual money? Because learning this isn't just a cool hobby, this is a legitimate, high-value skill that people will pay for. Let's break down the opportunities here. First, just for yourself. You automate your own busy work, which frees you up to do the high-level strategic stuff that actually grows your income. But here's the real kicker. You can sell this as a service. Think about every small business owner who is absolutely drowning in manual tasks. You can be the person who comes in and saves them 10, maybe 20 hours a week. What's that worth to them? A few $1,000s for a setup? A monthly fee to keep it running? Absolutely. You literally become the person who puts their business on autopilot. And don't just take my word for it. The source material absolutely nails this idea. This isn't some far-off sci-fi future. This job title, the automation specialist or workflow architect, it's a real role that's popping up right now. Companies are desperate for people who can untangle their messy processes and build these smart systems. This skill is a golden ticket to becoming one of the most valuable people in any room. So the big takeaway here is that we're really talking about a brand new form of digital literacy. You know how 20 years ago you had to know how to use Microsoft Word and Excel to get an office job? Well, this is the next evolution of that. Soon, the ability to understand, build, and manage these automated systems is going to be just as fundamental. It's the skill of making technology work for you. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. This shift is happening with or without us. The benefits are just too huge for businesses to ignore. So the question isn't if automation is coming, it's who is going to be in control. So you have to ask yourself, will you be the one building the automations or the one being managed by them? Are you going to be the architect or just another cog in someone else's machine? Because right now, that choice is entirely yours. If this video opened your eyes, don't just scroll, follow, like, comment, and subscribe right now. Your journey to building AI-powered income starts today. Let's automate your success, one workflow at a time.